Hey guys, this is Bart for PokerReviewList.com. Welcome to the second part of the review of the bigger 109 on stars. I reviewed the first 180 hands in the first video, so we'll just continue where we left off there. Again, I will just skip a lot of hands that we don't play and basically go to the hands that we do play, or go to interesting spots and skip a lot of pretty much standard spots. If you see spots that you don't consider standard but I just skip through them, just hit me up in a comment or whatever and I'll just discuss it. But for the sake of being somewhat faster with these videos, because it's 600 hands the whole review, and I don't want to do it in like 15 parts, so I don't want to discuss every single fold and all that, so we just keep it kind of simple. But if you have questions about hands, then just ask them. Okay, so here we have a pretty weird sizing, a guy that makes it like more than 3x, which is pretty weird if you have like 20 big blinds, but I figured just to get it in anyway. I think he's at the hijack, so I think he should still be pretty wide and still fold quite a few hands to my shove. I mean, I don't really consider him a regular making it this big, so he's probably a fishy type guy, and he's probably folding too much to shoves. Yeah, I'm not really capable of putting him on a hand here with this exact sizing. I'm not sure if this is his standard sizing or he's doing it all of a sudden, but usually when people make it bigger, they kind of want more fold equity rather than doing it for value. But that's not always the case, obviously. But it's definitely not. It doesn't have to be stronger that he makes it 3x instead of making it the min raise. The only thing is he has more chips invested, so he's less likely to fold, but I think he's still folding a good portion of the time. Kind of unfortunate that the big blind picks up kings here, but we luck box there. Okay, this is a misclick. I usually just fold this. I'm okay with min raising it at some tables. If the tables are like really tight, then I think it's fine to just min raise this. But it's kind of awkward that you have like 3 stacks that are kind of shoving stacks, and you can't call either one of them. So I think it's best to just open fold this. But it's definitely not good to limp here. But I was probably still playing some tables, and I was playing at my laptop, so it took some time to get used to it, and I was probably making some misclicks. But as it is, we get a pretty much great flop with obviously the flush draw and backdoor straight draw, and we are just trying to build a pot or take it up here. But as it is, we get a open-ended straight draw at the turn. So yeah, we just keep continuing to bet. I mean, we want some value if we hit on the river, and at the same time we have plenty of fold equity at the turn. So we miss, and I'm not too sure about the river. To be honest, I mean, I played this tournament like 2 months ago, so I don't really have an idea of what I did in this hand. But I usually give it up here, just because I don't really see many hands fold at the river that they call the flop and the turn with. I mean, a queen is probably still gonna call, maybe a jack is gonna fold some portion of the time, but I think most hands that are gonna call 2 streets are gonna call the river street as well. So I think checking back is the best option here. Obviously, if we knew he had ace high flush draw, then we should just continue to bet, but being that we already have a flush draw, we block some of his potential flush draws, and so I figured it was less likely for him to have a flush draw as well. So I don't really put him on that, and there aren't really many other draws because basically the other draws at the flop are like, well, maybe like king 10 or something, but that obviously makes a trips on the river, so we're never gonna get a fold from that. So, and other hands are like ace queen and ace jack, and I'm not too sure if he will fold those hands. So I think I'm happy about the way I played that, but obviously pre-flop was just a misclick, but the rest of the hand I think is just fine. Okay, so here we have under the gun that makes it a min raise. He has a regular. Played with him quite a bit, and so I think he's pretty tight when he opens here, because I don't really see him raise folding that often. But then again, we have ace queen. We even have a flat caller, which probably is a pretty wide range. Like he is trapping some portion of the time, but I think in general he also have like a lot of weakish hands. So I'm okay with just 3-bet getting it in here. I think making it like 9k-ish is fine. So we just get it in here, which is pretty standard. We lose a flip, but it's gonna happen. I'm okay with this min raise. There aren't too many. I mean, the button could shove a pretty wide range, but in general they are pretty tight. In these games, especially if they're not regulars, we get a pretty big 3-bet, and we obviously can't do much about that. Okay, so here it's a bit more interesting, I guess. Blind versus blind. We get a min raise, and we have a couple of options here. I think flat calling is the best option. We only need to be right, like we only need to win the pot like 19% of the time, and yeah, that's just gonna happen quite often. And we're in position. We have a hand that's sort of connecting. We could hit a couple of flops, and yeah, we could also. I consider myself having an edge against most players in this tournament post flop, especially in position. So I'm okay with flat calling this. Other options are 3-betting, but I don't really think. The thing with 3-betting is if you 3-bet this hand here, you have to basically 3-bet any two cards, because you're not gonna call anyway, and he's not gonna flat call that often, so it doesn't matter that much what your hand is. So then you have to figure out if it is profitable to 3-bet any two cards in this spot, and I don't necessarily think it is. And I think jamming is just spewy here with this many big blinds and pretty much a crappy hand. He just overjams the flop, and it's obviously pretty easy fold, but can't really put him on a hand there, but doesn't matter that much when you have 10 high without any draws. So here we have a min raise, and we have a bit less than 20 big blinds in the small blind. I think it's a good spot to get it in. We can pick up 8k. And I think he should still be having a pretty wide raise fold range, so I'm definitely okay with getting it in here. It's still pretty much the bottom of my range though. I think I would jam like king jack off, and maybe not even king jack off, but king queen off, and then king 10 suited. I would probably fold king 9 suited, but it's all pretty close. Okay, so here we have a min raise at the cutoff, and we're in the button. I think we can just play this for stacks. The thing is, our stack sizes are a bit too small to set mine in this spot, and with pocket sevens you can't do much more post flop than set mine. So I would much rather just 3-bet to get the action pre-flop, and I'm okay with stacking off pre-flop. And at the same time, if he flat calls, we could actually wrap something post flop, so we can bluff a lot of boards, which is pretty good. So okay, it's kind of a bad size tell, I guess, but I would probably make it this sizing with any hand, but it may not be the smartest thing to do when you actually have pocket sevens, but I don't know. I don't think it would matter that much. But he folds, and that's fine. If he would jam it in, which is, I think jamming is kind of an over jam though. But if he would, I think we have to call. Just because I don't think he would do it with his stronger range. And at the same time, if he would make it a small-ish 4-bet, then I would get it in as well, just because I think I still have fold equity and we're doing it okay against some of his range. So here we have Ace-King suited, which is pretty much a nuts in this stage of the tournament, and we just make it a min raise. We're just looking to stack off against anyone, I guess, and it's kind of interesting. We have a 3-bet from the same guy. He's a regular, he knows me, he knows I'm basically opening pretty much any 2 cards in this spot, so he's gonna look and 3-bet me pretty wide. So I think I just have to make it a 4-bet call here. And he actually clicks it back. I mean, for me it's a pretty standard get it in, and he still folds, so this kind of gives you an idea of the game flow that certain regs have against me. I can't really blame them, because basically I open really wide in that spot, and when I open wide, I know I'm getting 3-bet more, and if I get 3-bet more, then I will just start 4-bet bluffing. So he figured he should just start 5-bet bluffing, which makes sense. The 10-9 off is not a great spot to open. I think I kind of prefer a fold here. I don't think it's bad, because you only risk 3,600 to get almost 5k, so it can't be that bad. But there are 1, 2, 3, 4 players that could jam on me, and 2 of them are actually jamming on me, so I think it's good to take a fold there. I wouldn't be able to fold 10-9 suited though. Okay, so here I think this hand is pretty standard fold. This guy just makes it a pretty big 3-bet, and he kinda commits himself, so it's pretty standard fold there. We get a min raise here from a middle-ish position, and we're on the cutoff with 7-6 suited. I think the only option we can't really do is folding here. I think flat calling is fine. The only problem with flat calling is that we have 3 stacks that could isolate jam here, so I kind of prefer to just make it a 3-bet, I guess. I'm not too sure. I mean, I actually would think I would 3-bet in this spot, but the only reason the reason not to 3-bet is that you're not gonna play your hand post flop that often, and 7-6 suited in this position, being this deep, is like a perfect hand to play in position and post flop. So I'm sorry guys, I had a bit of a technical problem, but okay, like I said, this hand is just so great to play post flop, so that's the reason for flat calling instead of 3-betting. But I don't really like the way the other stack sizes at the table are. Like we have 2 20 big blind stacks that could just jam over us, and it's pretty costly, and I don't think they will jam that lightly over us if we actually 3-bet in this spot. But I think both options are definitely fine. Okay, so we basically hit the nuts at the flop, so we're just trying to get some value. I think, yeah, I'm actually okay with like raising here, because every diamond kinda breaks our hand, so we kinda need to raise for protection and at the same time raise for value, because I don't think he will give us that much respect when we raise here, because I think he's gonna put us on a lot of draws, and obviously if this guy has like ace king without any diamond or whatever, then he's probably just gonna fold. But then again, he's probably not gonna barrel that much at turns, so we're not gonna get that much value from him anyway, so I still like raising there. Again, we kind of misclick. It's kind of a shame. Maybe I should have watched the hand history before I choose to review this one, because I'm playing pretty terrible. But I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's not even like a super bad misclick. I mean, for a misclick, it's actually a pretty nice play. But I obviously would just min raise there in general. As it is, I like my C bet, and we pick it up there. Okay. Yeah, we just have to fold here. There are so many bad turn cards. We can't. I mean, the thing is, we can be right. Like, we can have the best hand some portion of the time at the flop. But the thing is, like, there's basically no turn card except for a set that we can continue on. So we just have to fold on the turn as well. So might as well just fold on the flop. Okay, so I mean, this is somewhat closer. I mean, I think the heads up C bets are pretty standard, but three way you can give some arguments for just check folding here, but it's not that draw heavy, and we still have like a 4 outs to the nuts, and we have some other outs to make some sort of a hand. So, and we can still pretty much rep the king, and it doesn't necessarily hit their range that much. So I still like my c-bet there and just try to pick it up. This might be a spot that I will 3-bet. I think I played this. I played this pretty ABC. Like, I didn't 3-bet that often. I like last year I was just 3-betting way too much, and always trying to do the most fancy things and just trying to get into reg battles and just trying to own everyone. But the thing is, it's not really necessarily, especially in such a tournament that's just full of weaker players, and you can just play kind of ABC and not try to always be the best, and just take the spots that are obviously profitable, and then also sometimes put in a couple of 3-bets and stuff like that, but not do it like 6 times per orbit. But still, I like this play. It's actually pretty funny because I know I played this pretty straightforward, and this is kind of like, I like this play, but I'm not doing it every time, but kind of had the feeling I would take a spot here. I'm okay with the sizing, it doesn't matter that much. I wouldn't go smaller though. I think it's better to make it like 9.5 or 10k, but I don't think it matters that much. The thing is, I don't mind him flat calling that much. I would mind him flat calling way more if I had like ace-2 off. I'm not saying I would 3-bet ace-2 off in this spot, but if I would, then I would mind a flat call way more, because the hand just plays really bad, and 10-8 suited is just a pretty good hand post-flop, so I actually prefer him flat calling over 4-bet jamming for obvious reasons. But so I'm okay with making it pretty small in this spot, but I wouldn't be too unbalanced with your 3-bet sizings. Okay, so here we make a super standard min raise, and I think we kind of have to get it in here. I'm not sure what I did, but it's kind of a spot that I min raise basically any 2 cards, and he will play back at me a good portion of the time. So yeah, I just got it in, and got it in pretty bad, but that's gonna happen. I still like my play there though, just because especially because of my own image. I think people just get that I'm really loose in those type of spots, and you should be. Okay, so here we get a pretty much a min raise, and we figured to 3-bet the guy in position. I'm okay with this play. I don't feel flat calling is ever an option against this guy being so short, and we still have some equity, like our playability post flop, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to work that often. We can pick up more than 11k. We risk less than 11k, so it has to work less than 50% of the time. So it's a pretty cool play, I guess. Again, you shouldn't do it 6 times per orbit, and you have to toss a hand every now and then. Like this spot, I would usually open this, but now I've been pretty, well, I don't want to say unlucky, but I have been running pretty bad with my 3-bets and 4-bets in some way. So people pick up on that and start 3-betting me wider just because nothing seems to work for me right now. So I'm just gonna open a bit tighter, and I don't want to have like a super maniac image. I don't really care about that if it's like a really super soft table, but there are some regulars at this table, so like the big blind is definitely regular, and I know he's gonna jam quite light on me if I open here, so I'm okay with folding this spot. So now I folded a couple of hands and start opening a hand again. Just mix it up. I mean, it's not like I'm always opening ace-8 off in that spot, but it's just kind of about the feeling and the game flow and everything. Just don't pick every spot, but just pick like 50% of the close-ish spots, and then pick all the good spots, obviously. Like here again, I'm not always opening this, but I think it's definitely profitable in most cases. But the stack sizes are pretty bad. We have 10 big blind. A 10 big blind stack and a 12 big blind stack, and then 2 really big stacks that could start 3-betting me light and everything. So, don't like this. I think I had the idea that the table is becoming pretty tight at the moment, but I can't really see many reasons to open this. I think it's a bit too wide, and again the stack sizes are so bad. Like we have a really short stack that we actually have to raise call on the big blind, and he's gonna get it in pretty widely. Then we have 2 stacks of 10 and 12 big blinds that are gonna jam a lot, and then we have 2 big stacks that could 3-bet me a lot. So it's kind of sick that we got a walk there. And then me being, I think I opened actually 3. Yeah, I opened 3 hands in a row now. I would prefer to just fold this. I'm okay with opening this if it was like the first spot I took this orbit, but this being the 3rd spot in a row, I think I prefer a fold, which is pretty much the reason I fold here. It would be my 4th spot, and don't really see much reason to build a sick image. I'm okay with opening this. I could fold it as well. It's pretty close. I think I'm always opening ace-10, but ace-9 kind of plays pretty bad post-flop and everything, and you can't really call that many players, so I'm okay with opening it. But me being lose this orbit, I would prefer a fold, I guess. Okay, here we need 36% equity. The guy seems to be pretty nitty. I can't really say that since I don't watch every hand, but the guy seems to have the same stack for a couple of hands, so he doesn't really look that hard for a spot, I guess. So let's just see in Poker Stove. Like we have 9-5 suited, and let's just give him a 25% range or something and add all the pocket pairs and every ace or something. I'm not too sure about this range, but let's just give him like 31% range. Then we actually almost have the needed equity. So if he's like wider than this, then it would actually become a call, but it's pretty close. And when it's really close, I mean, I think like we need 36.2%, and I think if you have like 36.5%, then you actually have to call. But I'm not too sure about this guy's range. Some players are actually tighter than this, so, and some players are like 77% and just jam it in with any decent-ish hand, and then you just have to call. But this guy seems to be pretty nitty, so I'm okay with my fold there. Yeah, here I'm okay with my fold. Button has a really short stack, and all the other guys are pretty wide, so are pretty big stacks, so they can 3-bet me pretty wide and everything. So I recognize the small blind being a regular that I also have like quite a few hands with, so he may play back at me more than average, and it's just things that you don't really want. Just keep it simple, basically. Like here, it's an okay-ish spot for. It's actually not really him being this short. But if he had like 70k or something, it would be a good spot for a 3-bet. But I don't really like my hand here, and it's also, you don't really have to take every okay-ish 3-bet spot, because then you just become a complete maniac and people are starting to understand that and play back at you way more. So okay, here we have a 22 big blind stack that's min raising from the cutoff, and we just want to stack it off with ace queen here. I would actually prefer a somewhat bigger sizing, just because he's gonna flat call some portion of the time, and we basically give him pretty great odds for a flat call here. So I would prefer like 14.5%. Sorry, 14.5k 3-bet here, but we get it in anyway. We get it in pretty good. I mean, as it is, it's obviously a snap call. I mean, we're 3-betting there to get it in, so. Okay, I guess it's a pretty standard min raise. The stack sizes behind are pretty good. Don't really see many shoving stacks, and there are some big stacks that could 3-bet us lightly, but then again, we are actually the biggest stack at the table right now, so oh, that's not true actually, but we're the second biggest stack, so people won't play back at us that much, I guess. And we get a flat call, and we have a pretty interesting flop. We have an open-ended straight draw and a flush draw, but it's not a really high flush draw though. I would prefer to bet somewhat bigger actually. We turn basically the nuts, and I decided to go really big on the turn. It's not even that big. I mean, it's like 66% or something, so it's a fine sizing, I guess. The river is not that great, but I don't really see him playing that many sets here, or 2 pairs, so I'm not that afraid of it. So I think I would bet like 44k or something. I make it somewhat smaller, which is fine as well. I would prefer to make it a bit bigger actually, but we're not getting that much action anyway, just because there aren't that many hands that could give us action there at that river. Okay, so here we have a cutoff open, and the regular 3-bets us, and let's see, we have to call about 8k. I kinda lean towards flat calling here. I'm not sure what I did, but the thing is, it's kinda close to flat call since we're like really short for a flat calling here. I don't hate it though, but I think it's a bit too. It's definitely close. If he would make it like 16k, I would never flat call here, but I think now it's okay-ish, just because we have money invested and we have some dead money, so we don't have to be right that often. Okay, wow. I didn't really. Yeah, okay, he's betting really small, so I guess it's okay. Then again, the thing is, we can't really rep an ace that often because we're not flat calling that many aces against his 3-bet, so I'm not too sure what my plan here was, but we're drawing to, well, a backdoor flush draw, a backdoor straight draw, but other than that, we have like 6 outs to a pair, and we're not even like kinda sure if that pair is gonna be good. He could have like an overpair, or he could definitely have an ace, so I don't really like this play. I'm not too sure. Well, at the same time, like, there are 2 aces on the flop, so the chance that he has an ace is a bit smaller, but he has to give us respect for having an ace, and I'm not sure if he will do that. And he actually check jams on us, and I don't know. I think we played this hand pretty badly, and he actually shows the 10-3 suited, which actually is the best hand, but I'm not too sure why he would show this, because I mean, the way I played this, he's only like he always has the best hand when I bet fold on the turn, so I don't know, I don't see much reason to show his hand there, but whatever. I still kind of hate the way I played this hand, just because I mean, the thing that he showed, that 10-3 kind of shows that we don't rep that much, so I don't think like the play is okay if we can get some respect there, but I don't think we will that often. I'm here under the gun, king 8 off. I would prefer a fold, I guess. I think the table is somewhat tight, so I don't hate it, but I would prefer a fold in this spot just to slow down again. Okay, so here we get like huge odds with the king tree, and we're just gonna try and hit a king or even a 2-pair, and if we don't, we just fold. I'm here. I think I'm gonna flat call again, just because we have great odds and we can hit some flops. I'm sorry. Yeah, we just min raise any 2 cards at this button spot just because we can pick up 10k and only risk 8k, so that's pretty good. Okay, he flat calls us, and also on the flop. I think I prefer to make it a bit bigger on the flop, but I don't think it matters that much. On the turn, we're just going to continue to bet for value, and he folds. Okay, yeah, he just makes it a min raise. And king 10, I think we can just 3-bet here. I don't like flat calling. I mean, suited I might flat call, but offsuit I don't think it plays well enough out of position. So I just prefer a 3-bet fold, but if he flat calls, we have some playability with our hand. Here I like this spot as well. I'm not sure what I did, but I'm okay with flat calling, but I think it's a bit too short for that. So I don't love flat calling here, but I kind of like a 3-bet here, but we 3-betted the last hand, so I'm okay with passing a spot here. He's also raising from under the gun +1, so he's gonna be pretty tight. So it's not a great spot, but usually I take some of these spots. Just because you're on the button, you have a hand that plays pretty well post-flop. So it's definitely not a bad spot. Again, we have a min raise and a flat caller, and we just get great odds, so we're just gonna call and try to flop the world, which isn't gonna happen that often, but probably often enough. Yeah, I'm okay with folding this first in. We're not necessarily getting too much respect here, so just try and siege for the better spots. Okay, it's pretty huge 3-bet sizing, but we can't really do much about it. I don't think he's gonna fold that often, and we are definitely not doing it okay against his stack off range there, I guess. Just keep min raising and trying to steal some spots post flop. I think that's the way to go. Here 10-9 suited is just way too short to do anything. Against a under the gun raiser, he's not gonna raise fold that often. We can't really 3-bet fold against him because he's just so short and he's just gonna get it in that often, and he's too short to be flat calling against him, so basically all the options are bad. I like this any 2 card open, as long as the small blind is not going too crazy with 3-bets. If he's 3-betting us 3 times in a row, then we should just start folding more first in and start being more active with 4-bet bluffing. Okay, so here a pretty standard. I mean, I'm definitely pretty much never gonna fold a ace from the cutoff here. But against a shove we can do anything. He's pretty much only shoving hands that dominate us, so I definitely prefer a fold there. And this is a standard get in. He has less than 20 big blinds. He's pretty much, I mean, I'm not saying he's stacking off any pair, but he probably is, and otherwise it's like 6s plus or something. So we're always doing it pretty good against his range. And yeah, he's actually getting it in with any pair. We get kinda unlucky here, but that's gonna happen. Okay, so the Jack 8 suited, we have 5-ish big blinds, so it's pretty standard. Get it in. We still have pretty decent equity when we're getting called. Ace 4 suited, pretty much the same spot. We have decent equity when we're getting called, and we have a lot of fold equity still. First in I would jam this as a any 2 card spot, but can't do anything now. Okay, so I like this spot just because we can pick up 19k, which is like huge for our stack. And we still have some equity. I mean, I'm not sure if I would jam 7 deuce off, but anything that has some equity, I'm definitely getting in. So we're just trying to build our stack back. But we're like really short, and I'm not raise folding much anymore at this point, just because I think I've played quite a few hands now, so I don't think my image is really that great, and at the same time it's like it doesn't make that much sense to raise that much at this point, because it's just such a huge portion of my stack, and I kind of look to see it for spots that I can actually get it in. So here 7-8 suited, we get excuse me, we get a raise and a flat call, and we only need 15% equity to be right here, so I'm just gonna call and look for a good flop there. It's kind of close with our stack size, but yeah, we only need to be right so little. So tens, I don't really see many options other than getting it in here. Okay, still we're not trying to look for a lot of raise fold spots. I mean, on the cutoff and the button and stuff like that it's fine, but other than that, not that much. Here we just basically min raise, make it a bit bigger than a min raise, just to induce action, and we get there. Usually I'm it's actually a pretty close spot, but I'm really loose in these type of spots, but you have to remember that the guy on the small blind just lost a huge pot, so he may be kind of tilted, or not even tilted, but he's just gonna get it in pretty wide, I guess, so we don't have that much fold equity, so I prefer a fold in this spot. I'm just gonna raise fold here, I would say, but I might actually jam here, which is fine. I'm pretty sure it's like profitable jam in this spot, but I usually just prefer to raise fold here, just because the hand plays pretty well post flop, and I don't know if he's gonna 3-bet jam that much on me, but like if he's gonna 3-bet jam really a lot, then it's kind of a shame, because then you're not gonna gain anything from your from the fact that you can play this hand really well post flop. So then I would prefer to just go ahead and take the profitable jam, but I'm not sure if I had that read at the time, but I think both options are definitely defendable. Okay, so pocket queens here, we're just gonna 3-bet, get it in, or at least try to, and he falls on the flop. The flop is pretty draw heavy-ish with a flush draw with some sort of a straight draw, but don't really think that's in his range that often. But yeah, also every king and ace is pretty bad for us on the turn, so we just want to get a lot of value and get it as soon as possible. So we bet basically half pot, which is fine, I guess. Here I could take a 3-bet spot, but I already 3-betted him the last hand, so I usually slow down a bit then. Even though I had queens, but he doesn't know I had queens, obviously, so don't wanna get a too sick image. So here we're just, I could make it a bit, I'm not sure. I think this is okay. Let's see. This is meh. I don't know. I bet like more than half pot on the turn, and I'm not too sure about this. We're basically only getting action from, well, aces, but there's only one ace left, so we're not getting that much action from that. Other than that, we're getting action from flush draws and maybe some kings, but some kings may just check fold on the turn, so don't really like this. I would prefer to at least maybe check, but I'm okay with continuing just because I would continue a lot of my air as well. So, but then I would make it. I think I would prefer to bet like 45k or something. I think this is a bit too big, just because you can't really have that many hands. So we're looking for really thin value, and we can't really get it if we bet that big. Okay, so here ace-3 suited. I played a lot of hands in a row, so then I'm okay with folding it. Usually I would open it. Okay, so here the 10-8 suited were kind of too short, I guess, to be flat calling. I'm not sure. I kind of like a flat call. In position I would flat call, but I think out of position it's okay to just fold. Pretty standard all the way. Let's see, he makes it 24 big blinds. Yeah, that's just way too much to be calling there. We're never doing it great against his stack of range. King's obviously pretty standard. Kinda unlucky, but it's gonna happen. Okay, king, queen off. I'm okay with flat calling here, but I kinda like to have some initiative, so I prefer 3-betting here. I think my sizing is okay. Just trying to be the aggressor post flop and then be able to rep something post flop. So okay, here we have Jack 10 suited. We get 2 flat callers pre-flop, and I would always bet the ace high flop. The thing is, the turn is such a blank. I don't think he's gonna fold that much, so I'm just gonna check fold here. Okay, just standard min raise, and just have to min raise fold against both, but still a pretty great hand to play post flop and everything. Okay, so the deuce is a bit too wide to get it in, especially because it's only a 55k shove and we play 270k. So we have to risk 270k against 2 players that could find a hand. And I mean, against this guy it's profitable to get it in, but there are 2 other players and we have to risk so much that it's definitely not worth it. Probably just have to fold here. Don't really see many options. We don't really have any reads to be getting it in here, and flat calling is not really an option anymore. We're just shoving the jacks with 20 big blinds. I think if we would make it smaller here, it only looks stronger, just because I wouldn't really have a 3-bet fold range in this spot, so I prefer to just jam it in. This is kind of close. We have 20 big blinds and a min raise and a flat caller. I kind of like a shove here, but the only reason not to shove is that we have a regular on the big blind and on the button, and I'm not sure. First of all, I'm not sure how wide his flatting range is and how much it is full of, like, I don't really think he's trapping that much though, but because it's a pretty obvious 3-bet spot for him, so he's probably 3-betting all his value hands. But I'm not too sure about that. But also he's not gonna give me too much respect for my shove, I guess. So I'm not too sure about it. We can pick up 91, yeah, 91k, which is pretty huge for my stack. And we have a blocker, so they have less aces in their range because I have ace, and we have some equity when we're getting called. So kind of like the spot. I'm not too sure. I think a fold is definitely the standard-ish play there. Yeah, pretty standard altogether. I mean, we're definitely looking to get it in here. And he actually still folds. Again, queens. Wow, okay. Yeah, it's still pretty standard. Get it in. I mean, yeah, he's definitely getting it in with 9s plus at least. Maybe even much wider, but at least 9s plus. So we're still doing it pretty good, and it's pretty much the perfect hands to get it in. Okay, so we did 426 hands, so I'll just do another 4, and then we have 430 hands, and I think that's a good point to stop the video. And yeah, we did like 240 hands or something this video, so that's quite a bit. Okay, so here we min raise pre-flop, get a flat call, and we always have to bet this flop because we wrap it so hard, and he doesn't wrap it that much. And I'm kind of doubting, but I don't think we can make him fold that much on the turn, so I'm just giving up. Let's see. Okay, the guy is actually playing 6 big blinds and min raises, so we just wanna flip against this guy basically. We do. Okay, so we min raise pre-flop. We get a flat caller, and it's pretty standard bet. Obviously, we just want to get action, but don't really get there. Okay, so here we take a somewhat less standard play, I guess. We make a 3-bet with a pretty wide range here. We can pick up 81k, and we risk less than 60k even, so it only has to work like less than 40% of the time or something. And yeah, I think it will. So, but it's just something you shouldn't do it all the time, but you can definitely mix it in every now and then. But the value decreases a lot if you start doing it every single time. Here I don't really like my fold. I think I definitely prefer just a min raise here from the cutoff. The hand still plays okay-ish. Okay, yeah, pretty standard all the way. So okay, this will be my last hand, by the way. I did 450 hands now. I kind of forgot about the fact that I said I would do another four hands. It turned out to be like 14 or something, but whatever. Okay, so we get a hijack min raise, which is pretty standard. Flat call again, and got a guy 3-bets us. We can't do anything about this, I guess. Nah, doesn't make much sense to be 4-bet bluffing in this spot, so flat calling is not really an option in this spot, so I think it's a pretty clear fold here. So okay, like I said, we did 450 hands out of the review now. I'm not sure if it will be another 1 or 2 parts, just because the late stage is going to take a bit more time, I guess. We still have 160 hands left or something. It could be in one video though, but I'm not too sure. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. This was part 2 of the bigger 109 review. We'll be back with part 3, and this was Bart for PokerReviewList.com.